Yes, welcome back. Thanks for staying with us on the press this morning. Our guest is here, a very, very known face on KAFTAN TV. You see him here, right here on the press, and of course, Matters Arising and other programs. He is Richard ORIRI, Public Affairs Analyst. Richard, it's so nice to have you on the press.
It's my pleasure. Good morning.
You're looking very dapper. Yes. You're looking dapper. Now, without wasting much time, we're taking a look at Abacha load, Naira Stabilization, and of course others as we analyze the front page of papers this morning. Our focus are going to be on June 12, the Abacha load, and of course the Naira Stabilization, the prediction that the Naira will stabilize in the near future. But first, let us start with the Abacha load. I woke up, to see Miriam defending her husband, saying, you know what, Nigerians should bring proof that her husband stole the money. In fact, the impression given was, if at all the monies were kept for Nigerians and it had nothing to do with the monies being stolen. But we have statistics, like I usually love to do. I brought statistics. We've had situations where past government have received this so-called Abacha loot. And if you take a look at some of it, so far about $4 billion have been returned, should I say repatriated or sent back to Nigeria. July 1999, $420 million. May 2002, $1.2 billion. November 2003, New Jersey Island recovered $149 million. September 2007, Switzerland returned $458 million in cash and $2 billion in assets on March 2014. It's not over. Switzerland returned $380 billion June 2014. They returned $227 million. August 2014, the U.S. returned $480 million in 2016, and it just goes on and on. I still have more of the list, which I will reel out, but suddenly his wife says these statistics are wrong, or that the husband never stole. In fact, he never annulled the June 12th election. I really want your take as we begin our discussion this morning.
Thank you very much. I listened to what Miriam Abacha said, and even before now, she has said it is not the first time she is saying this. Is making it about 2 or 3 times that she has asserted on this particular matter. What is there is that we cannot get the fact of the matter until you hear from the government side. What the problem we have in Nigeria is that accountability. What she's saying now is that Nigerians should ask government to give us account of what actually happened to what they tag Abacha loot. Now, from her own side, she's saying that her husband never looted anything. And you know, when Goodluck Jonathan was in power, Gozi Okonjo-Iweala, who was the supervising minister of the economy then, the minister of finance, she advised the government to save for later rain. And the governors, the assistant governors, insisted that everything realized must be shared. They refused to save. Possibly Abacha may have saved this money in the name of Nigeria and not in his name. What the government has failed to do to us as citizens now is to come out openly to tell Nigerians whether this tagged loot were saved or kept in these banks in the name of Abacha and not in Nigerian name.
That's what Miriam is actually saying.
Yes, and not in Nigerian name. They've not said that to anyone. And on the other side of it again, all this looted fund that they are telling us, where are the money? How was it utilized? Meaning looted fund being looted by another looters. We have not seen sincerely, like some of the ones released to Nigerians, like in the president administration, the government of General Muhammadu Buhari, the immediate past president of Nigeria. The Attorney General of the Federation then, Malami was the one in charge. And we saw what happened. All the money recovered from foreign banks till tomorrow, till today as we are talking here, no one has given Nigerians account of how the money were used. Was it used for road construction? Was it used for hospital? Was it used for school? Was it used for what? We have not seen no account for all of this. So Nigerians now, we are asking government to come out openly to tell Nigerians if these monies looted were in the name, kept in the banks in the name of Nigeria or in the name of Abacha. If it were kept in the name of Abacha, it means he looted. But if it were kept in the name of Nigeria, then it was basically to our own benefit. Yes, for the future. For the letter read that Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala advised Jonathan's government earlier. So now these are things that Nigerians would want to hear from the government. Accountability. And all this looted fund put together from the previous administrations, if you put them together, it's more than what we have today as 54.9 trillion naira budget. Nigerian naira, all these billions of dollars looted and recovered, we have not seen. And there's no infrastructure in Nigeria. We cannot see anything on ground that this money were used for. So I can't blame the woman, because the government have not come openly to tell us who saved this money, in whose name, and on what purpose. We need all of these facts before we can move forward. We can say.
You want to ask something?
No, he was mentioning how much money was whether it was looted or it was kept as a savings for Nigeria. We do not know that. First, sadly, the man is dead for him to answer what the money that we have in different countries are for. It was actually reported that about $4 billion from 1999 or so to about 2023 was recovered in cash, and about $2 billion in assets so far. So from what she said, though, there are some, I think we shouldn't just completely discard it, because she talks about evidence, what are the evidence. She also mentioned that as at the time of her husband's death, that there was money that was kept for Nigerian in cash, and after his death, the money disappeared. You understand? So
she said that
there are so many questions. I think for us is a question of, we're not asking the right questions. Are we asking the right questions? Now, like I mentioned earlier, was the money meant for Nigerians, safe for Nigerians? And like you mentioned, they've been returned back in batches. You were asking where is the money? What has it been used for? I remember there was a time that I think during the past administration, the president shared the money to different states, for infrastructure purposes. So it goes down to the governors. What did you do with the money? Some parts they said it was used to alleviate some sort of poverty scheme or something, but we don't have evidence to know if this was actually implemented. So now, my question now to you is, in moving forward, because some of these funds are still out there, in moving forward, how would you suggest that this is tackled when the monies are returned? How would you suggest that they are used in return? Because the monies are returned, we don't know what is being done, whether they're being re-looted, in your words, by our politicians. So what is the way forward, basically?
The way forward is for our institutions to work effectively for all of us. The institutions are so weak that they are not rising up to their responsibilities. If you look at, in every democratic state, there are three basic sectors that drive the economy. The first sector is private sector, which the government. The government comprises of the private sector, and the private sector, there are two layers of private sector. That is the political class, and then the civil service. These are the two basic layers of that comprises the private sector. Then the business sector, which is the private, the public sector. I mean, the public sector have two layers, which is one, the political class, two, the civil service. Then the second layer is the business sector, which is the private sector, and the third layer is the civil society organization. These are the three basic sectors that drive every democratic system. And in a democracy like Nigeria, we rely more on the government sector which is the public sector, comprising of the political class and the civil service. But over the years, the political class and the civil service angle, they have been so corrupt that there is no accountability on any ground. And this money that has been looted is both the political class and the civil service. They are the one managing this on behalf of all of us. But they have not given us proper account on how this money were utilized. And going forward, like you said, the basic thing is for the institutions to work effectively for the general public of Nigeria. But the institutions, as it is today, they are too weak. If you go to the angle of, like, let's say, the police now, very weak. If you go to the banking sector, very weak corruption. If you go to the civil service sector, very weak, almost everywhere. If you go to the judiciary, they can't even give proper adjudication of justice. In fact, almost everything centered around corruption. And until we kill corruption, we will keep complaining of all of these that we are saying today till infinity. But by the grace of God, things will get better. But corruption must be tackled in Nigeria.
All right.
All right. If you just joined us, it is the press where we're taking a look at very, very germane issues on the show this morning. Abacha load, Naira stabilization, and of course the June 12th celebration that is forthcoming in a few days from now. We'll take a short break to open the phone lines, and when we return, please do call in and be part of the conversation. Stay with us. Back now, it's time for you to call in and be part of the conversation this morning as we take a look at Abacha load, Naira stabilization, and of course the June 12th celebration. Before the break, my guest, Richard ORIRI, was actually helping us understand by breaking down in his own terms what he feels should be done about what's the statement that was made by Mariam Abacha, and of course the reality that these monies were stashed abroad, repatriated to the country. But the crux of the matter is the transparency around it, and of course the accountability that should come with it. And that is what I want to talk before we move on to talk about the fact that even Mariam Abacha said that her husband did not annul the June 12 election. So accountability in governance seems to be a huge problem that we have, huge problem Nigerians face. Princess asked the question, is it that we're not asking enough questions, or we're not asking the right question? We're not holding government accountable, because this monies are huge. We're talking about $4 billion US and counting, and that is just for Abacha alone, the Abacha loot alone. We're talking other issues. There seems to be a break between government and those governed. Nigerians are asking that will be carried along in terms of policies and decisions making by government. The monies belong to everyone and not one person or a group of people. But unfortunately, what appears or what presents in our country is that there is a circle and there are others, and we're not carried along as citizens in the country. Let us take a look at accountability and harp on it, why it is important that Nigerians know how this monies are spent. But okay, we just lost our first call. Please, accountability in governance or in Nigeria, what are we doing? Is it that Nigerians are not asking enough accountability from those in power, or there seems to be a break and it's just business as usual? But first, let us take our first call. Hello, good morning.
Yes, the man is beautiful Nigerian.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So what's your name and where are you calling from?
Let's go to calling from Cross River State.
So,
okay, please go ahead. Go ahead.
Please, I want to plead with you. Once you open the line and we start calling, you have to pick our call, please. It's our show.
Sorry about that.
Good morning to you, Dr. Richard ORIRI.
Good morning.
Good morning, Princess.
Good morning.
Yes, the topic is out. I appreciate KAFTAN TV for this wonderful opportunity they are giving to us. Abacha, Naira stabilization, other analysis of the 4 pages of today's dailies. Yes, from all indication, there is a depth of accountability in governance in Nigeria. And from all intents and purposes, it is intentionally induced by our political class, because they know that if there is accountability, these sharp practices they are doing in government and governance will not be possible. And it is high time they begin to do the needful. Like the topic we are discussing, we learned that Abacha wife said the husband didn't actually loot the country. Now, I am sure she is maintaining an account bearing her name. If the husband is maintaining a domiciliary account, the domiciliary account, is it an individual account? Or is it a corporate account? Or was the account bearing a Nigeria NNPC? Or is it bearing our foreign reserve? That's the explanation we need from government, just as you are saying, to actually exonerate the late Abacha and the family. Or else, we were told it was tagged repatriated fund, and that fund was not in Nigeria name, so they shouldn't come to confuse us. But what is paramount is this: are we seeing judicial use of this money, this repatriated fund, right on the day of the former president? So many social critics said that we were experiencing relooting of the looted fund. And from all indication, we begin to believe this. Because what we expect from government is to tell us how this fund is being utilized.
So there you have it. It's just the question that I asked. Transparency, accountability from governance, and of course, are Nigerians asking the right questions? Are we asking enough, and is government responding?
What is there is this: there is so much problem in all the angles to accountability in governance and in democratic state like Nigeria. We have three phases to accountability in a democratic country like Nigeria. The first phase is the horizontal angle to accountability, which is government to government, executive, judiciary, and the legislature. They check each other for balancing. Then the other one is horizontal and the vertical. The vertical angle is from the electorate. In a democracy, there's flaw for electoral process, and it normally comes after 4 years. And if we are not doing well, the electorate have the constitutional power, right, to vote you out, or vote you in again for performance. And if you lack performance, they can vote you out.
Okay.
Hello?
Yeah, let us take this call, Richard. Yes, good morning. What's your name, please, and where you're coming from?
Okay, this is Zubi calling from Abacha, KAFTAN extension.
Okay, Zubi, thanks for calling. Please go ahead.
Okay, I want to thank KAFTAN TV for this opportunity.
You're welcome.
A quick one. First of all, I want to thank your guest. He's doing a great job over there.
Thank you.
And making a good analysis. First of all, I think this Abacha group, it has been overemphasized. It's high time we start looking into the present government, the excesses of the present government.
Okay.
Nigeria is having problem of check and balance, accountability problem. And the more we don't refer to doing this issue or bring a stop to this issue of when the government comes into power, he or she abuses money and makes use of it anyhow he or she wants and goes scot-free. I think the citizens need to start asking this government to give us a good accountable of how the administration goes.
Are you saying Nigerians are not asking enough? Are you saying citizens are not asking government enough to be accountable for, what they do? Like you talk about check and balances. Nigerians are asking for accountability enough?
Yes.
Okay.
So it is a big problem, because if we can checkmate this Abacha route, Abacha, the money that was recovered, till today we are yet to see what it was used for.
Okay.
So the government keeps stressing on Abacha. Every day, look at the past CBN governor, Elisere. How much was recovered from his account? These are the things we are lacking. The government is lacking checks and balances, and I pray God will help us in this country.
Okay, thank you so much, Zuma. There you have it. Richard, please go ahead.
To align myself with him is this issue of accountability. There's no serious checks and balances. Like the horizontal angle to accountability in democracy is left for the executive, the legislature. But in Nigeria, you see that both the executive and the legislature, they are fused together. You don't even know which is checking which. And ordinarily, the legislatures, they are supposed to oversee what the executive is doing with our money. They make laws, and these laws are being implemented by the executive. But during the implementation, you have to oversight. They have the oversight function, but is this oversight function effective? All this money that have been repatriated, who checks the use of this money? And it is the responsibility of these legislatures to do all of this. And anyone that have held, what has the judiciary done in that aspect, in terms of punishment and all of those things?
Okay. So we have another call, Richard. Sorry to cut you. Just hold on your thoughts. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Do Good. I'm calling from Port Harcourt.
Do Good. Are you doing good?
That's what I'm calling. This television house is Nigeria Television House. It's serving a good purpose, yes.
Go ahead.
We keep on talking, as you said. We keep on talking to make Nigeria better. But it's like we're not talking, but we'll keep on talking. On the point now, Abacha money, Abacha is only the president that rule this country. Other presidents, where they keep their own. Because if you watch well, Nigeria is endowed with money. We have gas, we have crude oil. And I can tell you now, we have about 24 loading points of crude oil in Nigeria. And we have about 5 points of gas loading in Nigeria. Where our husband is going, and they see they borrow money. That's when they mix it up. People really us are not telling us truth. All of them, if you put all of them, they have the same party with what Abacha played. But like what he said now, Abacha played now, is it for saving money for Nigeria or for himself? Or for what? Because why is his own money very rich to get members to Nigeria? But others are still taking there.
Okay, so there you have Do Good saying others are taking there. As you asked the question, we can trace Abacha's loot. What about the past president? What about theirs? Well, I don't know about that, but the reality on ground this morning is the fact that Abacha loot exists, but his wife is saying contrary to that, the husband did not loot Nigeria, but this monies were kept, if at all, to help Nigeria. All right, we've talked a lot about Abacha. Let us take a look at June 12th celebration. Of course, this is a new democracy date. Before you came on, Princess, to say, you know what, Nigeria is a dynamic nation. The democracy is not democratizing. You know, it's not democratizing for Nigeria. I don't know how to put it, you know, the street slang that will be used, you know, in terms of that. But seriously, it's just 2 days away, right? 2 days away. And there's this threat of demonstration all around the country. We all know what eventually happens when we have such, we know our history as Nigerians. What we want is peace and not problems or anarchy. But again, I want your take as we walk towards June 12th, taking a look at the past, finding out where we're at this moment, and of course our projection for the future in terms of democracy for Nigeria.
Yes, democracy is a very nice concept, but the way and manner we have played it in Nigeria, especially from 1999, the first republic was 1960, and it was interrupted in 1966 by the military intervention. And since after then, 1979, when our father Shagari came on board, then we saw another second republic of democratization. Then after that, 1983, military struck again. That was when General Buhari came on board. Then 85, Abacha came again. Babangida came on board again, took over government. If you look at the trajectory of Nigerian democracy from the first republic, second republic of 1979 to 1983, then going to 1999, even when NSHLCON came in 1993 and all of that, you see that it's not a proper democracy that we have been practicing, even up till now. Democracy is all about the people. The angle to it, the focus is welfare of the people, making the environment very conducive and dignified for the masses. But what we have experienced over the years, I can say, on my own perspective, I see it to be oligarchy, government of the rich, led by the rich, and in the interest of the rich, because the poor masses, they are not seeing dividends of democracy as it ought to be. Look at what is happening in India today. Nigeria is the most populated country in Africa. In the whole of Middle East, in the whole of Southeast Asia, India, China, China is the highest, the most populated in the world. They followed by US, then India. So, if you look at what they have used democracy to do in their own environment, and look at what we are doing here in Africa, the supposed giant of Africa. If you look at Nigeria, the poorest country in the world, is it fourth or third poorest country in the world, the most miserable in the world. Why is all of this happening to Nigeria, despite all the endowment, the mineral resources that we have? Like the last caller said, we are the fourth largest producer of gas, export of gas in the world today, and our gas is one of the best in the world, our own gas. And if not this administration, the previous administrations, they did not even tap much into our gas sector, the LNG, liquefied natural gas. They did not tap into this administration. And today now, still on the issue of accountability, what is going on in the gas sector, Nigerians know nothing much about it. Our focus is still on oil, but a lot is coming out of gas, but we don't know what is going on. No accountability. And if you look at our education sector today, is almost near zero. Basic education in Nigeria, generally in the 774 local government in Nigeria, no local government that you go, you see basic education functioning effectively well. It's only private schools now, private primary schools or nursery schools that give basic education to Nigeria's population. And government is doing nothing much. You come to Abuja here, you hear about UBEC, Universal Basic Education. They are not giving the necessary responsibility to the people. If you go to the state, they call it SUBEB, that state basic education or something like that, all of those things. They are just there in name. Our university system is the lowest. Not that our population, younger populations, they don't have the brain. They have the brain, but the environment for education, for effective learning, is not there. If you go to the health sector, like yesterday, my younger sister, my immediate younger sister, was sick in the village. It took time to even get just first aid treatment to give to her, until we met called a friend from another community came to pick her from my village to Otukpo. Took over 12 hours to get to that place. No medical, no health. In fact, all the community health centers in Nigeria, in the 774 local government in Nigeria today, no one is working effectively. So Nigerian democracy today is a shame. But by the grace of God, we move from where we are to the next level. But the problem is not just about the leaders. The problem is so equally about the followers. The followers have their own take on this, because we are not looking at the country as our interest. If the interest of every one of us as citizens is geared towards making the country to work, there's no how Nigeria will not work. The followers, they are the one pressurizing even the leaders, giving them so much pressure that will make them to even get involved in corruption. And when election comes, instead you will stand firm for those whom you know, because there's none of these people that present themselves for election that we don't know them from our various communities. We know them. And in those days when elders in the community select chiefs in every community, both young women and everyone, they know the best person to lead them as traditional ruler. And if you are someone that is corrupt, they don't let you in. You don't even come close to where they are electing a community leader. And if you are someone that sleeps with someone's wife, they don't let you come close. You understand? So, but today, when we go to the poll on the day of election, you see someone that is growing up, who should be seeing the country as his own, will be collecting money to voting criminals into a public office, which is our own problem. Someone will collect 5,000 naira and vote for a criminal. And I say, yeah, now, let's say my brother is contesting an election, and I know that this my brother is a convicted criminal. There's nothing that will make me to support the other person that is clean, that has clean slate. But I will go for that my brother, or someone that is from my ethnic group, or someone that is from a religious angle. It's not doing us any good. And that is making them, the elite, to come together. The few elites, just about 5% of them, they are united. While those of us who are the electorate, we are disunited against ourselves, while the elite class, they are united in their own interest against us.
Now, Princess, you want to add to this?
Definitely. You mentioned quite a few salient points I would like to happen. First of all, any day that is commemorated to celebrate something, it means that it is to celebrate this, to ensure that, okay, to bring to limelight, like, this is what we're practicing and all. But sadly, from the look of things, we're really not practicing true democracy. The election, the June 12th election that was held so many years ago, was adjudged to be the best so far. Since that year till now, no election has been equated to it. Isn't it sad? That means we're not moving forward. Now, you mentioned, there was something you mentioned, and that is the mentality of ethnicity, tribalism, religiosity. All these things are factors that are drawing us back. You see, when it's time for elections, people are looking, you're not looking at what will this man bring to the table. They say, oh, because this person is from my village, or he speaks my language, or he worship, we have the same religion, or you just maybe anything that makes you akin to him. That's the only reason you have to vote the person, and then discard someone who has more potential, someone who has a burning desire to change this country. And that is why we remain in the position we are. Are we practicing true democracy? I think the answer is quite clear that we're not. We have a model, which is the US. We're modeling the US. But look at what the US is doing. Look at what we're doing, completely different. Like you mentioned, if we can't model the US that we are copying in truth, in all facets, then maybe we should find another another system of governance, or that we should call our own Nigerian governance,
and just know that this is what we're doing,
exactly,
and go for it.
Totality.
Okay, so because of time, let us move on to, of course, the prediction that the Naira will stabilize in the future. There's a prediction that it will stabilize at 1,600 to 1,650 Naira. Well, this is a prediction given by experts, but we want to find out how possible this will be. So far, Nigeria's dependence on oil remains a double-edged sword. You know, the country depends on oil, and its rise and fall determines foreign exchange. What we have as a people, it has become a huge problem. You go to the market to buy anything, it doesn't matter. It could be oranges, from oranges to clothes. They'll tell you, oh, the Naira has, the dollar has risen, the Naira has fallen. Everything you price at the market is equated to the US dollar. It has become a huge problem to us. But that on the surface is beyond what we see. The bottom line is we are a mono economy. It has become a huge problem. Again, Richard, there's a prediction that Naira will stabilize in the future. I want your take. Do you see this happening in the face of inflation in the nation anytime soon?
Yeah, like the great economist Brian, like he has said, yes, I will somehow align myself with him, and he did that, made that prediction on the basis that the current administration now has a policy that homemade goods should be patronized. Like even vehicles, before now, Nigerian government patronizes Toyota and they buy from outside. And if such is happening, there's no how there will be no pressure on the dollar. There will be so much pressure on the dollar because whatever you are buying from outside, you buy in dollars. But if you are buying from Nigeria, let's say that is the policy angle of the current administration now is talking about industrialization. Instead of going outside to buy some of these things, it should be produced here. And if it's produced here, the value of the Naira will rise, while dollar will fall in value. But if that is not happening, there is no how that we can meet the point. But if it is happening, then the prediction will come to reality. But as it is now.
My name is Mazi Okafor.
Okay, sorry, Richard, let's take the call. Yeah, Mazi, go ahead, Mazi.
Yeah, now when we talk about this Abacha money and the newspaper, what the wife said, look, Nigeria is rich. The only thing is that when people end up with, they tell us they just believe that there is one spirit putting Nigeria. We believe anything that is telling us whether federal or so. But whosoever that money, they should bring it. When it's supposed to bring the money now, whatever they use it, that is cost. You start asking yourself, all these problems we're encountering, is it good? It's not good. Ukraine, Russia, they are fighting war, but Nigeria, we are not fighting war. See what is happening in Nigeria. May God bless us and keep us. May God help us so that in future things will change. Good morning, Mazi Okafor from Arushki. Have a pleasant day. To all our Muslim brothers and sisters in the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, Richard.
Yes, as I was saying, the value of the Naira today is very low. And if you go to the open market, you still see that dollar dominates everywhere. Dollar dominates, and as dollar kept dominating, the value of Naira will not rise. But and again, the issue of industrialization, if you go to a place like Anambra State, I so much like what the governor is doing in Anambra, the governor of Anambra State. He is doing so well. He set aside a particular portion of the state, he named it industrial zone, and he put infrastructure, roads, water system, power, and everything. So that particular section now, too many industries have risen from there. And in the whole of Southeast today, there's so much competition among the governors in terms of industrialization. If Nigeria, the 36 states of the federation, can go in line with what the federal government have said, the policy of the federal government, and try to industrialize the states, there will be employment opportunity, and there will be so much to be produced in Nigeria. And since the government has said that if you are buying anything locally, you don't use dollar to pay, you use naira to pay. That will definitely increase the value of the naira. But as it is now, presently, most of our policies are just a statement, mere statement, but implementation used to be the problem. They have said that no foreign vehicles should be bought again. We have Inosi here and we have other locally made vehicles in Nigeria. We are watching to see if the government of the day will patronize these locally made vehicles that will inject more funds into our economy to kind of increase employment opportunities, and then rejig the economy in the interest of all of us.
Now we don't have much time. We're rounding up. We have barely 2 minutes. So for all that we've spoken today, Richard, let us conclude with you from the Abacha loot to what else? The June 12th, Democracy Day, and of course Naira appreciation. Please give us your final take.
My final take is we should see the country as our own. Democracy is the best government, the best system of government anywhere in the world. But we have to look inward and see that practicing putting in front of us the indices of democracy for everyone to see that this is democracy we are practicing in the benefit of everyone, not just few. It will help all of us.
All right, I'll just say that Nigeria belongs to all of us, and we have the right to ask questions. We need to ask our politicians questions. They are our employees. You are the employer. You have the right to ask them questions and for them to provide accountability. This is Safa Wego. Thank you so much and have a beautiful morning.
Yes, indeed. There you have it. Nigeria is our home, the only place we call ours. East, west, north, south, up, down, sideways, anywhere you go, you're going to come back right here to the nation. I say it every day on the show, and every time I have the opportunity to talk, this is the greatest nation on the surface of the earth. I believe that the place where two rivers meet, the people shall be great. And if we are great, we shall carry Nigeria in our hearts and not on our lips and run with that. We need to be patriotic to this Nigeria that we call home. The Nigerian dream must be made to come alive. The Nigerian dream must be made to come alive. And as Nigerians, we must join hands to build a nation that we desire, not just for ourselves, but for the future that we hope to see. My name is ANIRE. BINITIE, I appreciate you for being part of the show. I thank those who called our guests from across the TV, from Cross River, Abuja, Port Harcourt, and from Arochukwu. Tomorrow is another date on the press. Make sure you're armed with your phone so you can call in and be part of the conversation. From this side, from Princess, Richard, and myself, enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.